Everyone, welcome to another episode of Triangle Offense. I'm Monish. As always, I'm joined by Nishant.
Hey, hey.
We had a great weekend of basketball, didn't we? The Lakers ran riot. LeBron showing Zion who's the boss out there. The
Yeah.
Denver Nuggets still failing to get to the top half of the table. They suffered a close loss against the Utah Jazz, whereas the Clippers are marching on. And I'd like to use this episode to see which team can actually run the Lakers close or which team will end up in the Western Conference Finals because we know that one team is going to be the Lakers. Let's analyze who the next team could be because the Clippers look like the second best team in the West, but are they? The Phoenix Suns have been pretty impressive. They haven't
Yeah.
played a few games in the last week because of COVID-related situation. Steph Curry, could he inspire Golden State Warriors to be that team? Could Utah Jazz actually finally make the leap? Denver Nuggets, are they really? Can they really run it back from last season? Dallas, can Luka do it? It doesn't look like it. Today he had a good game, but pretty miserable day for Dallas, wasn't it? So let's
Yeah.
analyze and see which teams can make it. And I'll shoot it right from I mean, at the outset. Clippers, do you think they're better than last season? Is that the team that will go to the Western Conference Finals with the Lakers? For that, they need to finish second. They probably would, but would you depend on this team, like, say, in a close second round playoff series, 3-2 down, and a close game going on? Would you really bank on this? Who are the final five? I can't really seem to gather my head around it
Yeah.
because you're Paul George and Kawhi, but who the remaining three?
Yeah, but to be honest, I don't think the Lakers still know their best starting five. So I think that's a bunch of teams. Also, I think the Lakers look good to top the West easy this time. I think
Yep.
it's going to be another one of those. In the playoffs, I think it's too far away. And given how crazy the season's been so far with this pandemic, and I think the playoffs are a bit too far. Assuming that the Lakers would go to the conference finals, it's likely. I mean, they look by far and away the best
Yep.
team, but in a straight shootout with another team, let's see. Uh, but the rest of the West is quite condensed, and I'm loving it because you have right from the second to say the 10th seed.
Yeah.
A lot of these positions can reshuffle. Maybe Clippers are likely to finish second, but that's about it. I think
Mm-hmm.
everyone else is. You are likely to see a lot of shuffling. Like right now, the West is Lakers, Clippers, Jazz, Phoenix Suns, Trailblazers, Spurs, Mavericks, and Warriors.
Yep.
That can reshuffle 10 ways every weekend, right? That's how eclectic that is, and all of the teams are between 500 and 700 win percentages, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
quite close. Who do I see making the conference finals? Is at this stage, it really is anyone's guess. But I think the answer to that, or the way to figure that out, is to first look at what teams do you think are likely to make the playoffs now,
Right.
and of those, which teams are really built to win playoff series? Because as
Mm-hmm.
we've seen, it's a whole different ball game winning a
Mm-hmm.
head-to-head playoff series versus dominating in the regular season. I
Yep.
mean, just ask Milwaukee, right? They found out
Yep.
the hard way more than once. So I'm looking at these teams. Um, I'm looking at Phoenix. If they don't finish as the second seed at some point, they're going to go through either the Clippers or the Lakers.
Right.
Are they built to beat either of those teams? I just don't think so because they don't have a defense worth anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Chris Paul can defend in the playoffs. Devin Booker can commit to defending in the playoffs, but neither of them have the skill to be elite at that role.
Mm-hmm.
And really, DeAndre Ayton is their only big defensive weapon, so to speak. And even he isn't that elite. Like he's good,
Yeah.
but he's no Gobert. He's no Anthony Davis. That's not his
Mm-hmm.
game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a problem then, because that offense that you have, a lot of teams will be able to match it. The Clippers at their best can match the Suns and probably even best them.
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry alone, if he's firing on all cylinders, can match the Phoenix offense. Uh, Portland can absolutely do it. Mavs can outshoot them on their
Mm-hmm.
night.
Mm-hmm.
So it boils down to defense. I don't think Phoenix are well built. Let's move them out of the equation. Let's make this easy. Let's keep it 1-0.
Okay.
Portland,
Okay.
same problem. Firecracker offense, can't really defend. And in a playoff series, they can unravel all too quick against teams with big wings
Mm-hmm.
that go both ways because Portland can't handle them. And then if you have like an Anthony Davis or one of those unicorn type players, then it's over, right? And Mavs have someone like that. Lakers have someone like that.
Yep.
Clippers can get it done with their wings. So Portland for me are out. That leaves us with the Spurs. Spurs, I think, are already overachieving. I don't think they're going to achieve much in the playoffs. They'll do well in the regular season, and that's about it. So let's move them out.
Mm-hmm.
Utah Jazz. are as intriguing a team as any.
Mm-hmm.
But even if they fire on all cylinders, I don't see them making it past the second round of the playoffs. I think that was their ceiling. It's going to continue being their ceiling until Donovan Mitchell turns into an all-star plus caliber
Mm-hmm.
player, like at least a Jason Tatum level player. Then we're talking. Until then, it's not going to happen because Gobert doesn't shoot it.
Yep.
Now then, so that's Utah out. So who do you have really when you're looking at the West? It's down to Warriors. I don't think they're winning series after series. I don't see them getting to the finals. I think as well as they're playing, getting to the playoffs is an achievement for this team. I think they'll
Mm-hmm.
make it. I had
Mm-hmm.
them like we said any Steph Curry team you'd say has a shot to be in the top 10, and then it's anybody's guess because then they have the playing games.
Yep.
I'm actually now looking at this team, willing to say they'll probably make the cut. Like they'll make the
Mm-hmm.
top 8, probably 7, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of secure their playoff spot because this is still a developing Golden State offense. This is still a learning, figuring things out Golden State defense. They finally have all the pieces that they want on the
Mm-hmm.
floor, and historical evidence is this team will figure it out. The coach, the leader, they'll get better than where they are now, and that's good enough. That'll take them to say the 7th seed. So they'll make the playoffs, but they're not knocking out any of the big guns. Not happening. Steph alone, not happening. If he has one other even semi all star kind of shooter, it's game on. Or it's not happening. So they're out. So really, you're looking at the West, man, and it's just down to the Lakers and the Clippers, the obvious twosome.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dallas Mavs are the only dark horse. Again, just like last season, Lakers and Clippers with Mavs kind of with an outside shot. That's about it for me.
Okay, that's fair. I had actually rated the Phoenix Suns much higher, and my reason for doing that is Devin Booker and Chris Paul have had pretty ordinary seasons so far. They have been pretty bang on average, right? It's
Yeah,
below their career averages. So they are yet to see an upside, which I surely believe they
true.
do. Chris Paul is an all-star. Devin Booker is an all-star. So I surely believe they have an upside that is waiting to be tapped in.
Yeah, I'll
And I
buy
think
that.
once they get better, they've improved their team from last year, right? Ricky Rubio is upgraded to Chris Paul.
Yeah,
They have Jay Crowder to do the 3 and D job. They have Dario Saric, who might probably be traded off for a big piece. They have DeAndre Ayton, who's really developing as well. So I think that's a pretty interesting team. It reminds me of the Mavs from last season, where
yeah,
they had the new guys and they had the upcoming stars. You know, they have an upside, and you saw how close they went against the Clippers. So I think
right.
Phoenix is that kind of a team.
Hmm.
I really think Phoenix against the Clippers. I would really, if they were playing tomorrow, I would probably bank on the Phoenix. But long season to go. Let's see how that goes. But I had Phoenix Suns pretty high up. Mavs, I don't see them making the cut, unlike last season, because they'll make the playoffs, no doubt about that.
Right.
But I don't think they're that team yet. They still need one piece to add to the duo of Luca
Sure.
and Porzingis. So that's Golden State. I agree with you. I don't think Steph alone is enough. I don't think the rest of the team have it in them yet to beat a top team. Clippers are the obvious favorites. Yes, I agree, but I don't see the team really. I mean, it's a team that will crumble under pressure, is what I feel. We saw that last season. I don't see anything's changed. In fact, I don't see how they've upgraded their team.
Yeah, they're not.
So,
Yeah,
so I don't see Clippers really. If it comes down to a close playoff series, say against Phoenix or against the Mavs or against Portland, even, right? I don't see them beating them in a close series. So I really think Phoenix would be my pick if I had to pick it today.
yeah. I definitely agree on the Clippers part to begin with. I don't think they've upgraded. In fact, they've lost a few pieces here and there. Right. I think Montrezl
Yeah.
Harrell's subtraction from their list of weapons, that's a big loss, especially not just production of the bench, but also momentum and energy and just driving the whole team forward. Culturally, that's a big blow. Ibaka has been underwhelming.
Yep.
Honestly, we've rated that trade. Well, we're not trade. That was a pickup, but we rated that very highly. And he's not been that guy so far. Now, have
Yep.
they put him in positions to be? Maybe not yet. But if they figure that piece out, sure, that will
Mhm.
then make them something. Batum, I'm never sold on Batum. I think he's just a fringe squad player. He had a bright start, but looks like that was just beginner's luck.
Mhm.
So no, they've not upgraded. But do they need to upgrade? Because this Clippers ultimately, when it comes down to it, is down to their two wing play superstars that can play at
Yep.
an elite level on both ends of the court. One of them shows up in the playoffs almost always.
Yep.
Kawhi, it was uncharacteristic, his game 7
No
uh,
doubt.
vanishing act, right? But Paul George, anything but. It'll be uncharacteristic for him to really light it up in the playoffs consistently. So
Exactly.
again, it's down to that for them, really. With the plus Harrell, minus Harrell, plus Ibaka, Batum, whatever. It's down to can Kawhi and Paul George be that duo in the playoffs? If they can, they'll sweep through everyone in the West except the Lakers. And even against the Lakers, that's a ball game.
Yeah.
Why I'm not, and I'll buy the Phoenix upside. I think there definitely is a lot more to be that we can expect to see from their offense for sure. Where I'm not sold is in the playoffs. Oftentimes, teams like these that are heavy on offense don't really
Mhm.
have the defense,
Mhm.
get derailed. And you need to look no further than the Phoenix Suns themselves from a decade ago when Steve Nash and Sean Marion and D'Antoni, forget the squad. D'Antoni was gunning that squad forward, right? And it really birthed this whole small ball offensive madness movement, even though they had Stoudemire. So they've teams that are all offense no defense seldom make it very far in the playoffs,
Mhm.
even if that offense is elite. That's the only thing. Now if they can make some intelligent moves, maybe flip Saric for a good defensive player, and upgrade, maybe their backcourt is still not that great defensively, but great. Maybe they can give themselves a shot. That's the only reason I'm not counting that high the Phoenix Suns. Their upside is definitely there, especially the backcourt.
All right. So
But
we'll
let's see,
see
it'll
how
be an
that goes.
interesting. Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be interesting. I think one team we have not even mentioned and been sleeping upon are placed in 11th place right now, the Denver Nuggets. Uh, any upside for Denver Nuggets?
No.
Nikola Jokic, can he do it alone? Jamal Murray, is he going to be a star? Can he uh, can he just be consistent? I mean, you saw in
Yeah.
the bubble he was averaging 35, and then regular season he's back to averaging 17, 18, 19. That's what he was the regular season last season. So is he really going to
Yeah.
be the star? Is he going to be this consistent guy who really had a streak, inconsistent guy who really had a streak in the bubble, and that's about it? We
He
never,
may
we never.
just.
Mm-hmm.
He may just show up. Maybe in the next part of the season, latter part of the season, or even in the playoffs. He may, if they get there, you may see that Jamal Murray again. I think we've really been spoiled by the likes of Luka Doncic and Jason Tatum and all of these young guys that play night in, night out, never seem to have a dip. But when you look at Jamal Murray, it's not very much unlike a lot of players of his age that the league has seen over the years. This kind of
Mm-hmm.
inconsistency for a player that young is not new. I mean, it's a part of the learning curve for a lot of players. We've just been spoiled by the Lucas and the Jason Tatums of the world into thinking all young players, once they're good, will forever be good. But it doesn't always work. My problem with the Nuggets is not that. Jamal Murray may well show up. Um, and I apologize for this light flare thing. I'm facing the natural light directly, so you'll see the sun flaring up every now and then. Can't help it. Uh,
We're
Jamal
talking
Murray
about the
may well.
Phoenix Suns, so that's obvious.
Maybe that's symbolic, right? The rising from the. But Jamal Murray may well turn up. Jokic will continue to be that guy. Their problem last season was defense. Their problem this season is defense. And we said it at the start of the season. So far, none of us have been, in the whole world, everyone said this really, is you give up Jeremy Grant, you lose a chunk of your defense. He was the difference maker. He was the one that flipped that Utah series when they put Jeremy Grant and gave him heavy minutes against Utah, that amped up their defense so much that was the ball game. They
Yep.
don't have that, and their third piece outside of Jokic and Murray that really makes them so potent, Michael Porter Jr. is again a defensive liability, even more
Yep.
so than the first two guys, who are not bad defenders, but they're not great by any stretch. So that again is it's the same thing. It's the Phoenix logic all over again. If you can't defend, you can't win titles. Scoring puts fans in the stadium. Right now, nothing puts fans in the stadium, but it's defense that wins you championships. And you remember that stat we were seeing by an excellent analyst from ESPN, and we'll put his link in the description. That said, since 2004 was it, or since even before that, no team that's not a top five defense in the league has won the championship.
Yeah. True.
That speaks volumes. The Denver Nuggets are close to rock bottom, if not rock bottom. Phoenix Suns aren't very high up either,
Mhm.
and that's really what I'm banking on. Like without defense, unless you have the Brooklyn Nets offense, which even then is not a sure thing, but that's about as close as you can get with a firebrand offense that can get by without equally firebrand defense.
All right, then. So that was our, you could call it a kind of a new style of power rankings
Yeah.
in the Western Conference. We should do the East sometime soon
Yeah.
because that's a more open conference than the West. So that'll be a fun thing to do. Let's see how that goes.
All right, man. Just that's all for us today.